Hi everyone, my name is Serena Jack. I'm Vice President of the Mark One Wealth Academy, and I'm excited to introduce you today to one of Orange County's top producing real estate agents, Jason Risley.
Yeah.
And Jason's also a member of the Wealth Academy.
I am.
And we've invited him in for an interview for our inner circle. So Jason, you've been in the business for 14 years.
I have. Yep.
You work at Maxim Real Estate Group.
Yep.
And what I want to know from you is, well, first of all, you're currently featured on the American Dream TV show as well. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's been fun. You know, it's really just showing different areas of Orange County that a lot of times aren't coming to light. I mean, I think most people think of Orange County, they think of Disneyland.
Right.
But Orange County's got a lot of other things, you know, to highlight, and so I appreciate doing that, and it's fun to do.
Very cool. Now, is that generating some leads for you as well?
You know, that's a good question. It's hard, it has, but it's kind of hard to know how much of that has been directly from the TV show. I've had people come up to me and say, hey, I've seen you on the TV show.
So you're getting recognized out there.
Yeah, so branding, I think it's great. Yeah.
Awesome, that's really cool. So what do you believe is the biggest challenge for agents in the industry today?
Yeah, I mean, 2020, it's technology. I mean, there's disruptions in the real estate industry, big time. And I almost hesitate, even if I'm at a party talking to someone saying, hey, I'm a realtor, because my niche has got to separate myself so much because there's so many people with their real estate license in California.
Right.
And so then on top of that, you have all this technology coming in where people think they can go around the agent, which, you know what, if the agent's not providing much value, then I can appreciate that. But the value that I feel like I can provide is 10 times, 20 times, 30 times greater than the average agent. And I'm always trying to separate myself. You know, I've got a niche. You know, my background's in accounting. I used to work for KPMG, and so I understand the analytics. Not everyone loves math or likes talking numbers, but I've always loved real estate, and it just makes so much sense.
It's been a good mesh. Your analytical skills and the Wealth Academy, and so what when you talk about not wanting to introduce yourself as a real estate agent or realtor in a group of people, what do you tell them? How do you approach them, people?
Well, I tell them that I help people develop passive income, and really I'm a real estate investor. I didn't leave KPMG to really become a realtor. I did get my real estate license eventually, but it was really, I understood, I was playing with a lot of numbers and Excel spreadsheets and figured out, I can either invest in the stock market or I can invest in real estate. And my group think, at least at KPMG when I first started there, was 401k is the right answer. And a lot of people think that. So I appreciate that. But then I said, well, I don't know what the future holds, but I can look at historical data. And I started interviewing people. I remember there was a CPA class that I was taking through Becker Convisor, and KPMG paid for this and all that. But the teacher stopped the class and said, if I tell you one thing, it's buy rental real estate. Buy your first house and buy rental real estate. And this is someone that used to work for JPL NASA. So very, very sharp people. And then I saw some of the partners also invest in real estate. So I thought, okay, there's more to this. And then on top of that, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, which a lot of people have. And then I started reading all the books on the education side. He's written books with Dolph DeRoos and Diane Kennedy, who's a CPA, talking about the loopholes. And there's just so many different ways to make money in real estate. And it just, okay, this is a whole nother level.
We can go really deep here with Jason.
Sorry,
Right now.
I'm sorry, this is getting too long.
No, it's okay. That's great stuff though. But you found, what we found basically is that real estate is the path to financial security and wealth, and it outperforms the stock market. We say 3 to 1. What would you say?
Yeah, it's about 3 to 1.
3 to 1.
Once you throw all the benefits, and also it depends on how you're using leverage, right? Because if you're putting 10% down versus 20% down, that can compound a little bit more. But yeah, it's sad to me how many people believe that the stock market is the only way, but they all have been programmed that way because this is how the financial advisors talk about it. This is what CNBC and all the different mainstream media sources.
That's all you hear.
That's all you hear. And so but those people aren't reading the tax code either. So I don't blame them for that, but it's at a different level.
They're taking the path of least resistance, so to speak.
And they're not putting a lot of thought to themselves through it. They're just kind of believing what they hear.
Agreed. What is it about the Mark One Wealth Academy that resonated with you for your business? So we started talking to you probably over 3 years ago.
That sounds about right.
I think is about probably the first time we touched base with you. So what is it about the Wealth Academy that resonated?
So I've been in real estate for 14 years and I've had a lot of these analytical conversations for 14 years, but I would say I had a lot of clients that were engineers and accountants, very analytical type careers, people that liked numbers. And sometimes I had these long Excel spreadsheets, so it was like, okay, if I can show these Excel spreadsheets to the client, they're going to get it. These numbers are too good, and then you're going, okay, well, you're not getting it. And then I realized, well, people sometimes maybe they hated math as a subject, and they don't like numbers, and there's a good chunk of our population that's that way.
Sure.
Mark was really good with showing the scale. And the poker chips is one of the illustrations he uses, but there's a lot of different illustrations, and there's calculators that are working really well to kind of show why real estate makes sense.
Right.
And so by kind of curbing my marketing and my numbers to very specifically with Mark's illustrations, I think they work well together.
Right. What we say, and I think you would agree to this, is that we take a complicated conversation and simplify it.
That's perfect.
Or maybe the way you were approaching it for some of your clientele was too complicated, right?
That probably is true.
Yeah. So good.
Yep.
Why do you think it's important to sell real estate education versus just selling real estate? Really what you're doing is you're selling the education of real estate to your clients, right? So why is that important?
Yeah, because, and it kind of goes back to our first topic of conversation is it's 2020 now, technology's come a long way. You got to be able to separate yourself from the rest of and let's face it, if you wanted to buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a pool in Mission Viejo right now, I could find you that, and someone else could probably find you that, or you could find it online. So that, just selling the commodity of real estate, it's not complicated. I mean, anyone can do it. I think the skill set that I can bring to a transaction is so much greater, and same thing with Mark, and we see it we're on the same page there. It's so much superior to what other people are offering. And if they're able to retire in 10, 15 years versus 40 years, how valuable is that? If you have more time with your family, you're able to, not be forced to work. To me, it's you don't want to always be forced to trade your time for money.
Right. So what I'm getting from you, Jason, is it's a combination of selling the education of it, but also it's a lifestyle. It's teaching people how to have the lifestyle that they need or want to have or are going to want to have in retirement. What would you say the chances are most people are going to get there doing their 401k stuff?
It's sad. And the 401k was really born in the 70s, I think 74. And there's a whole generation that's kind of missing out because so many of the people in that group, they bought into the 401k system. And the 401k system can work if you're disciplined and you're good at saving money and that sort of thing, but it's just not as good as real estate. And it's like we talked about, it's a 3-to-1 ratio. It's not even close. Yeah.
Okay, so you do some wealth consultations with Mark. You bring your clients in and you guys sit down. So why do you do so many consultations with Mark? And what are you trying to accomplish with that?
My goal for my clients isn't just to help them buy a house. It's understanding the educational mentality behind it, because everything's easy if they're on the same page with you and you understand you're going towards a common goal.
Right.
So me and Mark doing the consultations together, I think there's strengths in our conversations and being able to, we're on the same page and we're teaching them really how to develop wealth. It's not just real estate, right? It's not just buying a house. A house is 4 walls and a roof over it, but it is that, but it's so much more. And if they only get 5% and they only understand that it's a roof and 4 walls, that they're missing the point. And that's what we're trying to coach them so they understand. And to me, it's helping people. I want to help people, and I want people to get to a place where they can also help people. And this is so much more than just buying and selling a house. Yeah,
that's fantastic. Well, Jason, that was a lot of information, a lot of really great information, and I really appreciate you being here today with us to take the time to do this interview. I know you have a really busy schedule at the same time. So thanks for being here, and we look forward to a great, another run in 2020.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.